Hi students, I am Shirley Dashu welcoming you to the Medical and Pharmacy Crash Course division in the Knowledge Club online. You know we are going through the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, which is second chapter of the class 12 syllabus. I divided this chapter into 4 parts for 4 episodes. In the previous episode, we learned about the first part of sexual reproductions. If you missed that episode, please visit the channel for learning, or you will find the link of that episode in the video's description part. Today, I will discuss the second part of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. By the end of second section, you will be able to know the pollination, definition, types of self-pollination, the autogamy and diatonogamy, and cross-pollination, allogamy and xenogamy, agents of pollination, wind, water, animals, insects and birds. Brief description with example and significance. Don't skip the lecture. If you skip, you can miss a valuable points in between lecture for your exam. So stay tuned up to end. I am going to start today's episode. Let's start. We completed the 3 points in previous episode. Today, I will going to describe the 4th number point, the pollination. When the pollen grains are shed from anther, they are disseminated by various agencies. Some of them maybe its one can finally reach the stigma of a pistil, either of the same or another flower. This transfer of pollen from the anther to stigma is called pollination. Pollination ends when the pollen has reached the stigma. Plants are said to be self-pollinated when the pollen is transferred from an anther to a stigma of the same flower or to the stigma of anther flower on the same plant. The transfer of pollen from the anther of a flower to the stigma of a flower of another plant is called cross-pollination. First, I am going to start the self-pollination. What's the self-pollination? Self-pollination usually takes place in monoecious plants or in those plants bearing bisexual flowers in which both male and female sexual organs mature almost at the same time. It can be further classified into autogamy and diatonogamy. Then what's the autogamy? It is the transference of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower, eventually bisexual. Example of pea, wheat, rice, etc. And what is the diatonogamy? Diatonogamy, when pollen from one flower is deposited on the stigma of another flower born on the same plant, is called diatonogamy. That's example of pumpkin, squash, etc. Device favoring self-pollination. The most effective devices favoring self-pollination. Then what's the devices favoring for the self-pollination? Homogamy and cleistogamy. Homogamy means it is the condition in which anthers and stigmas in bisexual flower attain maturity at the same time. Then what's the cleistogamy? In cleistogamy, flowers never expose their sex organs and the pollens fall on the stigma of the same flower. As an example, Commelina bengalensis. Cleistogamy is followed by geocarpy in plants like groundnut. Fruits are formed in the soil. The self-pollinated flowers develop many devices like a direct touch of anthers and stigma at maturity by bending of the filaments of stamen on the stigma, like Mirabilis jalapa, or by carving the style on the anthers having terminal porous dehiscence. Example of Solanum tuberosum. In Vincarosia, the anthers are present at the mouth of the corolla tube, and at maturity, when stigma passes through the mouth of corolla tube, causing self-pollination. In sunflower, self-pollination takes place by the curving of the receptive surface of stigma downward and inward, thus coming in contact with their own pollen grain. This happens when cross-pollination fails in sunflower. Now come to the point, the cross-pollination. What's the cross-pollination? Cross-pollination can also be defined as the migration of pollen grains from one flower to stigma of genetically different flowers. Cross-pollination is also called allogamy or xenogamy. This is performed with the help of external agencies like the wind, it's called anemophily, water, it's called hydrophily, animals, zoophily. Example of zoophily like birds, ornithophily, by insects, entomophily, by bats, chiropterophily. So these are the agencies, external agencies, which help for pollination. Anemophily. Anemophilous, the wind pollinated plants like coconut, palm, date palm, cannabis or bung, G-maize, maize, grasses, etc. act as a wind pollinated plant. Exhibit the characteristics. The wind pollinated flowers are inconspicuous and not showy. They are devoid of scent, nectar, etc. They produce a very large quantity of dusty pollens. For example, a single flower of cannabis produces over 5 million pollen grains. Movement of pollen is non-directional and may be taken to long distance. Winged pollen grains of Pinus have been found at hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest pine forest and are described as sulfur showers. The pollen grains are dry and unwettable. The anemophilous plants grow in large groups to ensure pollination. In some deciduous anemophilous trees like bombax, the flowers appear before leaves. In plants like grasses and wheat, anthers are versatile, which swing freely with a slight breeze. To catch the pollen grains, the stigmas become sticky, hairy, feathery or branched. Some wind-pollinated flowers like Urtica daiica, its common name is nettle, show an explosive mechanism by which the anthers burst and surcharge the air with pollens. Now the hydrophily. What's called the hydrophily? Pollination brought about through the agency of water in plants, especially submerged plants, is termed hydrophily. Like Hydrilla, Ceratophyllum, Zostera and Vallisneria are some of the water pollinated plants. Hydrophily is further divided in two types. In hypohydrogamous type and the epihydrogamous type. In hypohydrogamous type, pollination takes place below the surface of water. Example, Zostera and Ceratophylla. Zostera, a submerged marine plant, bears elongated, needle-like pollen grains without an axil. When they reach the stigma, they coil around it and germinate. Pollen grains have the same specific gravity as that of water. The pollen grains therefore can float below the surface of water. Ceratophyllum demersum, a submerged freshwater hydrophyte, bears both male and female flowers on the same plant. The male flowers bear 30 to 45 stamens. The anthers, abscess at the base, float to the surface of water and dehisce there. Pollen grains are produced in large numbers. Pollen grains are round and without outer covering or exhale. The stigmas are long and sticky. The liberated pollen germinates and as they sink in water, affect pollination of female flowers. Pollination is further helped by soil movements of plants in water, which help the stigma in catching the pollen grains in water. In epihydrogamous styles, pollination occurs over the surface of water. Example of Vallisneria. The dioecious plant Vallisneria, having strap-shaped leaves, grow in the mud at the bottom of stagnant water. The male flowers are borne low down amongst the radical leaves on short-stalked spadix inflorescence. From these spadix, individual male flowers detach and finally float freely on the water surface. In the meanwhile, the stalk bearing the female flower straightens up and takes the female flower to the surface. Male flowers open on the surface with 3 perianth leaves, widely exposing the 2 stamens vertically. 2 of the perianth leaves are in contact with the water surface and the 3rd smaller tepal remains onwardly curved to act as a sail. Some of the male flowers are drawn into the depression of the water surface surrounding the female flowers. The anthers burst, sticky pollens get attached with the stigma. After pollination, a long stalk of the female flower coils and brings it back to a lower level of water where the fruit is formed. Hydrophilous plants have some interesting characters. What are those? The pollen grains are light but covered with wax. Stigma is sticky but unwettable. Scent, color and nectar absent. Flowers are small and inconspicuous. Sepals, petals or perianth, if present, are unwettable because they have a waxy coating. Next one, entomophily. Entomophily means insect pollinated flowers. Entomophilous possesses the following characteristic features. The insect pollinated flowers are fragrant and omit scent and odor. Example, castrum, jasmine, etc. Rafflesia gives out obnoxious and repelling odors. However, some flies are attracted by such odors. Most of the night blooming flowers are fragrant. At night, when the odor color fades, scent is particularly useful in directing insects to the flower. The insect pollinated flowers are beautifully colored. In flowers, mostly petals are brightly colored. Sometimes, when flowers themselves are not conspicuous, other parts may become colored and showy to attract the insects. That is the bracts in Bougainvillea, leaves in Eutrophilia pulcherrimia, one sepal in Masenda, etc. The nectariferous glands produce nectar for feeding the visiting insects. Nectariferous glands are present at such positions on floral parts to encounter the anthers and stigma. In viola, means pansy, markings on petals. Nectar guides are present which guide the insect to nectaries. In entomophilous plants, the pollen grains become sticky or spiny so that they may easily get attached to the body of visiting insects. To catch the pollen grains, the stigmas become sticky. Flowers become more conspicuous by grouping. Example of capitulum, corymb, etc. In plants like papaver, rosa, clematis, etc., edible pollen grains are produced. Some of the pollen grains stick to the body of insects while feeding on the edible pollen grains. In orchid or orchids, the shape and color of petals are like female wasp. Male wasp mistakes the flowers of olives for female wasps and tries to copulate, thus pollinating the flowers. In yucca moth bores a hole in the ovary of yucca flowers and lays its eggs in it. Then it collects pollen from several flowers and pushes the whole of pollen down the hollow end of the stigma. Fertilization takes place and seeds develop. Larvae feed on developing seeds. Some seeds remain unconsumed to propagate the species. It is obvious that moth cannot survive without yucca flowers, and yucca fails to reproduce sexually without this moth. Pollination of in fig, in Ficus carica, with Hypanthodium incrorosus. Pollination is done by a gall wasp. Here the receptacle is hollow with 3 types of flowers. The male near the opening, female flowers with long style, and the gall flowers, the sterile female flowers with short styles situated lower down in the cavity. In some Hypanthodia, there are only male and gall flowers. In others, there are only long style flow female and gall flowers, and in the still others, there are only gall flowers. The wasp enters the Hypanthodium and reaches the basal portion and lays the eggs inside the gall flowers. A wasp cannot lay egg in long-stayed flowers. When wasp comes out, a lot of pollen is dusted on the back legs by anther of male flowers. When these wasps enter a fresh Hypanthodium, they deposit the pollen on long-styled female flowers, causing cross-pollination. Salvia, a member of the family Labiatae, bears violet, brightly colored flowers. It shows a special type of turnpike floral mechanism. Insects attracted by the inflorescence, color and nectary glands on the lower lip. There are 2 stamens in the flowers, each with a lever mechanism. Each stamen has a short epipetalous filaments. One of anther's lobe is sterile. 2 anther lobes are separated by a long connective. The flowers are protandrous. An insect moves towards the nectary. Its head strikes with sterile anther lobe. Thereby, back of the insect gets the blow of the fertile anther lobe. Pollen-covered insects, when the flowers with older anthers withered, being protandrous, pollinate the flowers from elongated style and get the nectar from the nectary lying below the ovary. Next type is ornithophyly. Makes the pollination by the bird. Flowers differ in a number of respects from Entomophilus, the insect pollinated flowers. The flowers are generally scentless. The flowers are usually large in size. They are also beautifully colored with color contrast and are common colors like by bird. The colors parrot color, pure blue, etc. cannot be easily distinguished by insects except honeybees. Another interesting character is the provision of copious and mucilaginous nectar. The nectar is more important to the bird as a drink than food. The pollens are sticky and adhere to the body of the bird. The nectar is chiefly composed of sugars. Hummingbird can consume half its body of nectar in a single day. A vivid colored attract birds from long distance. It has been reported that more than 100 species of Australian plants are bird pollinated. Some examples of bird pollinated plants are the coral tree, bottle brush, Buttea monosperma and silk cotton tree. Last type of cross pollination, Chiroptophyly. The flowers of Caizella pinnata, Durio, Anthocephalus are pollinated by bats. The bats hold to the freely exposed large and relatively tough flowers, which open in the evening or night. Bats are nocturnal animals and transport pollens over long distance, up to 30 km. They usually give off a strong scent like that of rotting fruits. Bats also feed on the copious nectar and pollen which is produced in plenty as compared to bird-pollinated flowers. In the flowers of Adansonia, the baobab tree, number of stamens ranges from 1500 to 2000 to produce pollen in large number. Now, various types of adaptations which promoting the cross-pollination. Number 1. The unisexuality. The flowers are unisexual, having one sex only. These unisexual flowers are present on different plants, thus promoting the cross-pollination. Next one, dichogamy. In bisexual flowers, anthers and stigma mature at different times. Dichogamy is of two types, protandry and protrogamy. In protandry, the anthers mature first, but the stigma of the same flower is not receptive at the same time. The sunflower, cotton and salvia. In protogamy, the stigma of the couple matures earlier than the anthers of the same flower. Example of Ranunculus and Mirabilis jalapa, the 4 o'clock plant. Next one, the suppression of one sex. In certain bisexual flowers, one sex organ, either stamen or carpel, is completely suppressed and becomes sterile. Anther does not form pollen grains and carpel does not produce ovule, thus facilitating cross-pollination. Prepotency. In many plants, the pollen grains form a flower when present on the stigma of another genetically different flower, germinate more quickly as compared to the pollen grains of the same flower, thus promoting cross-pollination. Example of grape, pear, apple, etc. Self-sterility or self-incompatibility. Pollen grains of a flower are incapable of affecting fertilization even if they are placed on the stigma of the same flower due to mutual inhibition. Example of potato, tobacco, petunia, etc. Heterostyle. The occurrence of two or more types of flowers having different lengths of styles and stamens. In Primorus, there are 2 types of flowers, while in Oxalis 3 types based on the length of styles and stamens. An insect visiting a flower will get dusted with pollen grains on a particular area of its body depending upon the height of the anther. Now this insect will pollinate only that flower in which stigma lies at the level of anther of the first flower. This process involves pollens and stigma from 1, 2 or more flowers having a similar height. Harcogamy. In some flowers, there may be some physical barriers between the anther and the stigma so that pollination between them becomes difficult or even impossible. In that case, in Calotropis, the pollens are present in a sac-like structure called pollinium, and the pollination is entirely at the mercy of insects. The cross-pollination is performed with the help of external agencies such as wind, insect, water, birds, the Anophyllae, Entomophyllae, Hydrophily, Ornithophyllae, and bats, the Chirotophyllae. The pollination is also carried out artificially by the plant breeders by obtaining new varieties. Plants have developed the special characters to facilitate dispersal of their pollen grains through these agencies. For example, in wind-pollinated plants, the pollen grains are produced in large quantity to make up a huge wastage of pollen grains. Flowers are produced above foliage, so it may get complete exposure to the wind, that is the plant argo. The pollen grains of wind-pollinated flowers are small, light or dusty, smooth, unwettable and dry, and in some plants having sacs, that is pinnacles. The female flowers of such plants bear either sticky, hairy, feathery or branch stigma in order to collect airborne pollen grains. Among animals, insects are the main pollinating agents. Some insects are bees, flies, wasps, moths and beetles which help in pollination. The most common flower visitors are bees. The insects' pollinated flowers are large, showy, various colored, possesses in order to attract insects and produce edible pollen grains or nectar at its base, or it's a special structure called spore. The insects visit the flowers not for pollinating them but obtaining their food in the form of nectar and pollen grains, for getting shelter and depositing their eggs. During this process, the insects pollinate the flower. Revise it. I am very much sure of that. You will require less time to remember all these processes. Write me at the comment box how much you enjoyed and time take to remember the whole system after viewing today's lecture. Next episode we will discuss on the sexual reproduction part 3. If you like this video, please like, share and comments freely. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. If you already subscribed, then thanks a lot. After subscribing our channel, please click on the bell button for getting the regular updates. I am coming with another episode very shortly. Till then, goodbye.